Welcome to For Mannerless Women. I'm your host, Adelle Onyango, and this is a space committed to nurturing a new generation of shame-free women. We've come to the end of this special season that took us across Africa. And in this season finale, I'm joined by Leyla Hussein. She's a psychotherapist, a writer, an entrepreneur, a BAFTA-nominated activist, and so much more. I met Leyla in the thick of my divorce in Sierra Leone. And we had such an incredible conversation. We ended up being friends. And when I knew that we need to talk to women from different African countries, Leyla was one of the women on my list. She's from Somalia, and her energy and insights are incredible. This episode is for every woman who has ever felt guilty for choosing herself. If you have mistaken survival for living, this is an episode for you. If you have struggled to believe that you deserve softness, joy, rest, and pleasure, this is the episode for you. Let's get into it. First and foremost, Leyla, I am so excited, and this episode really warms my heart because you and I first met in Sierra Leone.
Yes. Oh my God. It feels so long ago. That was 2022 July. Can you believe that?
Oh, wow. That was a while.
That's how long ago. That was a while ago. Yeah. But because I follow you on social media, like I feel like I've been part of your life anyway. Like we both love shambas. Like we both grow our own food. That's something like every time you share like a spinach or a cabbage, I feel the excitement in your life. I'm like, I know exactly how this feels. But yes, I remember. Yes, I remember that the first. I remember you were in a cape. I remember that so clearly.
Yes, and you too. And you have all of these incredible, obviously, I follow you on socials after we met, and you have these incredible African outfits. So we really got along. And I remember we were at a dinner where the food was, they were not serving the food and we were hungry. And so we stormed off in the middle of the night to look for food.
To give more context, we were so dressed up. It was a VIP dinner and there were so many speeches. You and I were like, yeah, no, this is okay. We're not going to listen to your speeches. We are hungry. Don't make me hungry. If you want my attention, please don't make me hungry. That's something definitely. So I love that we bonded over that. And then we came and found some food. And I think, yeah, we've been in each other's lives since.
And I just have to say a big thank you because at the time I was navigating my divorce, being outed in like gossip blogs, and then in this faraway country I meet you and you keep telling me the most encouraging words because I'm telling you, oh, I'm a bit stressed because back home this and this is happening, and you would just like focus on your work, you have a new book, push your book, and it just speaks to how women can be there for each other even when they've just met. So thank you. Thank you.
Oh no, you're welcome. I mean, I know the community you and I come from because women are always judged when it comes to divorce. And I just got divorced. I got married a week after I had that conversation with you, by the way. I don't know if you know this. I don't think I told you, but me and my husband, we were planning. we eloped. As I'm telling you to enjoy your divorce, I was organizing my eloping. Imagine. Him and I literally got married the week after. We were eloping. Yeah, we really wanted to keep. That was my second marriage, but I know the judgment. And for me, it was like divorce is a celebration of freedom. I think that's. I remember having that conversation with you. Like I actually said to you, go and celebrate your freedom. This is freedom, and go enjoy your book. You were booked and busy anyway. So I'm like, just enjoy it. So that was really important. We got real very quickly.
Yeah. As we're about to do so in this episode. And I think from following your work and seeing just the incredible stuff you're doing in liberating women, when you talk about freedom, I think freedom for African women also goes hand in hand with pleasure. And so in your work, I just wonder, when did you first realize that so many of us African women are disconnected from pleasure?
Oof, wow. Do you know, I feel, by the way, I just want to give context that, this is a conversation we don't talk about. I think you asked me, Layla, if you had a chance to talk to a group of African women, what is the first? And I remember saying pleasure, because pleasure has been taken away from us historically. Maybe if I could come back to just Black people in general, because of our history of being enslaved few times, slavery still exists in this land, colonization, control, and it always came back to the idea of not being humanized. So because to enjoy pleasure, you have to feel human first. So there's that disconnect. So psychologically, physically, socially, we have been conditioned and being taught, and actually the systems were created for us not to have pleasure. That's why, for me, one of our fundamental rights as Black people, as Black women, it's really coming back to, what does pleasure actually look like for us? For me, that's a really critical. I wish sometimes I look at the feminist movement. I've been looking at the feminist movement recently. I just came back from Women Deliver again, and then I was at CSW. And again, very rarely we were touching on the conversation around pleasure. Like we don't, it's like people still scared. We're talking about women's rights, women's reproductive health. Those things are very important, but then there's something that's very quite fundamental that gets in the way of all those things, which is pleasure. So pleasure is very critical, but historically it was taken away from us. It was taken away from us. And if I maybe speak to violence has been one of the really critical ways, whether that presents itself as, I mean, by the way, I don't like some of this language. I'll come back to that. Domestic violence. I don't like the term domestic violence, by the way. There's nothing domesticated about violence, but we only use that language again to diminish that experience, right? Domestic violence, intimate partner violence. I'm like, no, it's just violence. So rape, sexual violence, female genital mutilation. Again, I hate the term child marriage. There's nothing marriageable about child. But when we are a society that's been subjected to all these violence, there's no space for pleasure. Actually, for women specifically, the reason they are married off, I'm saying air quotes when I say this, or subjected to FGM, is to actually fundamentally take away pleasure. So do you see why pleasure is so critical to our well-being? It's for me, that should be a global movement that should be at the forefront of everything.
You said something that is so powerful. I mean, everything is powerful, but this really stood out for me when you talk about to enjoy pleasure, you've got to recognize yourself as a human first. You have to sit in your humanity, right? And
Absolutely.
the intentionality of taking African women away from their pleasure when you talk of FGM, etc., it really points out to the power that pleasure has to bringing you back to yourself and unleashing like a very powerful version of you that maybe that's what a patriarchal society is scared of.
Absolutely. And also, just to add, it's not just feeling human. And then there's a next level. The next level is, do I deserve it? Do I deserve pleasure? Do I deserve pleasure? And when we're talking about pleasure, we're not talking about sex. Because people, when you say pleasure, they think you're talking about sex. But pleasure, it's across the board. It comes in different variations. Like for me, cooking is a form of pleasure. Going to the organic farm, going to a farm, buying food, for me, that's one of my favorite pleasure moments. Taking care of my hair and skin is another form of pleasure. Eating food that I enjoy, hanging out with my girlfriends is a form of pleasure. Like just being part of a community is a pleasurable experience.
Yes.
But the fundamental question is, do I deserve it? Because a lot of Black women in who I see in my clinic, especially as a therapist, that's the one question I always say, but do you feel you deserve this? And it's always, there's a massive question mark.
Why do you think many African women struggle to feel like we are deserving of pleasure in the ways that you've defined it, which if we loosely tie it up could be like things that make you feel good?
Exactly. So let's come back to why we don't deserve it, right? Again, it comes back to our history. If we survived slavery, colonization, I mean, you and I are the first generation that were not born into colonization. Our parents were born into colonization, right?
Yes.
So you can imagine pleasure is very rare. The message around pleasure, it's passed on because our parents were surviving
Mm.
A controlled state, apartheid states. That's what they were really surviving. So the fact of staying alive was pleasurable for our parents' generation.
Mm.
So the idea of enjoying something for you, because, again, there's this, because we haven't done the inner work, because we survived violence, because we're alive, that's it. That's where, but no one actually, we haven't sat down and said, oh my God, because the idea of not feeling like you deserve this also stems from fear, the
Mm.
fear of like feeling you deserve something. I mean, I know a lot of women who have full-time jobs. They earn, reasonable amount of money. I'm not saying they're very rich. Like I'm talking about even like middle class women
Yeah.
who have good salaries, but will not allow, she won't allow herself to buy a nice outfit or even go to a tailor to have something made.
Oh my
It's
God,
not.
yes.
Does that make sense? It's like
Yes.
I just want. It's like she has all the money. Like
Mm.
saved up all her money. There is a feeling of like I don't deserve to go and buy that slice of cake that I really enjoy. Like I don't deserve it. Or why don't I allow myself to? And I'm not talking about just going to a spa, by the way. Like I deserve to eat well. Like I deserve to have the best vegetable or buy the best, I don't know, juice, like something that makes
Mm.
you feel good. But it comes from trauma. Is there a trauma response? That's why we don't feel we deserve it, because our trauma literally stops at you're alive, you're well, avoid being harmed. Avoid being harmed. And
Mm.
also African people, we carry the evil eye fear, like don't show anyone your life is good because I'm going to get the evil eye. Don't. So we've been brought up with this notion of, well, if Adele was doing something good, Leyla's going to see it. Leyla's going to look at her, and now Adele's going to have a horrible time. Like we carry that fear. So it comes from trauma response. It's trauma response. So
Layla.
that's why we don't feel, yeah.
Oh my God. I wish you could. My mouth is like wide open because you're touching on so many things that even on a personal level that I have struggled with or still are. I'll tell you about like the evil eye thing.
Oh,
Like,
girl, I know.
hey, that one is heavy because I love
Yeah.
the version of womanhood I have created for myself and the life I've created for myself. But sometimes I feel two things. Number one, I want to celebrate what I've created for myself. And so I'll post about it, I'll share about it. And I also want women to see that you can choose you and the world is not going to end. If anything, it gets better, right?
Right.
But
Exactly.
but there's a small part of me that I always have to wrestle with that says, okay, keep posting these good things in your life and watch how somebody is going to snatch them away from you. How crazy is that?
Isn't that insane? Yes, we need to. And by the way, I'm telling you this. I know I have this insight because I've experienced it. I feel the fear. I mean, I'm my family's from Somalia. A war happened. My family, I grew up I was born very privileged, and then the war, everything was taken away from my family. Like literally, we went from like living a great life with a chef and a drive in the house in Mogadishu. Boom, we end up in the ghettos of East London. That really taught me something. And I remember my family literally started from scratch.
Mm.
But I remember the fear of not showing too much to people. My mother was very much, I mean, I was lucky a little bit. I think the reason I talk about pleasure because my parents didn't show their pleasure outside. They kept it inside the house.
Mm.
Does that make sense? For example, my mother turned a council flat in London. This is like, just imagine how grey, dark. I mean, it's not the nicest place, but my mum turned a council flat. She went and got herself a sewing machine and went to the market. She made her own curtains. It
Oh,
looked like,
wow.
that African parallel with all big, heavy curtains.
Yes, with
Do
the
you remember those
frills.
plastic? Do you remember those plastic fruits?
Yes.
Like I mean, it was the bougie that because that meant bouginess. Something
Yeah.
gold was in
Yeah.
there. So my mom taught me very early on. You can have pleasurable things at a budget. So for me, there's never an excuse not to have
Mm,
pleasurable things. That was taught to me very early on. She didn't parade it publicly, where before the war happened, obviously, yeah, my parents were very open about their privilege,
yeah.
But after the war, it was like, let's be humble, there's an evil eye, we need to be careful. There are people who are struggling. So that makes you paranoid a little bit.
Yes, it is hectic. Before we get into where we inherited the trauma from, can we spend some time on guilt? Because that's also something
Yeah.
I
Oh, yeah.
had to
Oh,
battle
yeah.
in terms of welcome and softness and pleasure and things that make me feel good in my life. I would feel guilty, and there were times, honestly, I was probably spending less than 5,000 Kenya shillings, and I literally had to sit
Mm,
myself down and be like, okay, you're saying this is a
I
waste
know.
of money. Where would you put this
Yeah.
5,000 bob in today that would transform your
Imagine.
life? I had
Exactly.
to confront the guilt. Where is this guilt coming from? So where do you think we get this guilt from when it comes to doing things that make us feel good?
Yeah, no, again, it's a community trauma response. If you go back to your childhood or the people around you, you didn't see that. You
Mm.
didn't see someone spending money on themselves. Actually, it was always, especially as Black African people, we are waiting for the next tragedy, tragedy that's coming towards us. There's always something we're fighting. So we need to save up because shit's about to
Yes.
go down at some point. Like, it's like, and it's true. It's not a lie.
Yeah.
We're always
Shit did go
dealing
down.
with shit is gonna go down. Like, it's like something's about to go down. And because we haven't done the inner work,
Mm.
we are either dealing with, again, we have the highest rates of divorce, highest rates of violence, highest rate of mental health. It's like we
Mm.
are dealing with shit. So that shit usually goes to maybe not to therapy. See, this is really what's interesting. We don't spend money on therapy, even though that's really what we need.
Yeah.
We don't put any funding towards any kind of emotional, psychological. Actually, there's still a taboo. So
Mm.
that's why there's a lot of guilt. And by the way, it's not just guilt. Guilt also brings up shame. When
Mm.
you're dealing with guilt, I call it you end up wearing the cape of shame. It's like you wrap yourself around with a massive cape of shame. Now you carry it around for days, weeks. You have to come out of this because
Yeah.
you're feeling shame for spending that money. You're telling yourself you could have kept it. Now you can't even tell people you bought whatever you bought because they're
Yeah.
gonna judge you. You're gonna feel judged. People are going to look at you like, oh, haven't you seen an auntie when you bought something nice? And she's like, why did you spend your
Ah,
money on that? I could have gotten you cheaper. Or
yes.
why don't you give us the money? Oh, you have money these days. And you really don't have money. You just wanted to buy something nice for yourself. Now you have to be careful because people think you're rolling in money just because you're wearing something nice.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like so it's like also it's not just the guilt and shame. It's like you can't even talk about this in case people judge you now. They
Mm-mm.
judge you because they think you now have money. So
Yeah.
you have to protect yourself.
Oh my
So
God.
it's a horrible cycle we need to come out of. It's a horrible cycle. That's why the way I've been working through this. I mean, like I said, my parents were quite good at really giving us, but me and my friends now, once a month, we do a bougie night. We have
I
to.
love that.
We have
Please
no,
break
we
down.
have
Break
no
down what a bougie night is for
the
us.
bougie night means, and these are only Black women. Bougie night means we dress up, we wear something very nice. We always encourage we wear something African. And listen, I don't know if Kenya had the same culture. In Somalia, I come from a culture where it doesn't matter how broke you are, you have to look nice on a Friday evening. So Somali people, women,
Yeah.
like you're gonna figure that shit out. And what Somali women used to do, my mom, I would like every Thursday they go to the Wednesday they go to the tailor, Thursday, Friday morning they pick up
Yes.
the dress, and then Friday they out, they're gonna take a photo. I don't know if you remember the
Mhm.
photos they used to take. So every Friday you took a photo. So again, being so my a lot of my Black friends, I'm like, guys, we might have to do something similar because now we have photos on our phones. We don't have to go do that.
Yeah.
But once a month, because we're busy girls, let's dress up, but let's wear something nice. It doesn't have to be expensive, but it
Mm.
has to be nice. We have to feel good in it.
Yeah.
And let's pick a really nice restaurant to go to. We're gonna eat. We are not gonna hold back. We're going to order what we enjoy, and we're going to have a 3-course meal. We're going to get a starter to share, main course, dessert, whatever drink you wish. We're going to get a taxi to take us there, and we're going to have a taxi picking us up.
Yes.
We are not, and we're going to have a good conversation. And guess what? We have to, by the way, you can feel the anxiety the day before. Like the anxiety is kicking in. And we have to tell ourselves when we get there, girls, and we always do it. You know how people go out the week they got paid? No, we go out the week before we get paid.
Oh, I love that.
We're getting paid next week because we know we're getting paid next week. So it's like that's the strategy. Is that we're going to go out the week before we get paid. We're not going to go out the week we got paid, because then it feels like, I don't know, sometimes psychologically, seeing the money back in our accounts makes us feel better.
Yes, and in a short time, in a couple of days.
Yeah, in a short time. Yeah, 2 days. Yeah, 2 days. We're like, yeah. You need that community of other women to break that cycle with. Like one of them, she messaged me yesterday. She goes, Leyla, I'm going to take three days off. Some of them are consultants, so they don't have a salary each month. And those who are consultants really struggle the most because, they don't have that regular money. But some of them are like so busy, booked, but they still carry that fear.
Yeah.
So one of them messaged me yesterday. She goes, Leyla, I booked myself a trip to Lamu for a few days. And I said, yes, good for you. Go and enjoy yourself. Go. I said, go. And I said, book yourself a sundowner, because why would you go to Lamu if you don't gonna have a sundowner? Like, why
you're already there.
Yeah, like also this is what I've noticed. We deprive ourselves of the experiences of the places that we are. I'm like, why would you not? Especially Kenya, my God, but I'll be honest, since I moved to Kenya, I have not gone on holiday anywhere else yet.
Yeah,
I think I visited my friend in Morocco once, but my holidays are in Kenya because this is my favorite location to go.
But we deny ourselves.
But we deny ourselves. Like it's really annoying when you go to nice places in Nairobi and it's just full of white people. I'm like, where are? And I message my friends. I'm like, girls, why are you not here? We need to be here. So I'm a great believer in taking up space. I don't like when people say to me, that restaurant only white people go. I'm like, no, let's all go. 10 of us will book a table. We're going. We're taking up space. That's how you revolutionize. And that's how we break that cycle. We have to go. We can't keep saying, I'm not going because white people go.
Or in our heads thinking that it's too bougie, it's too expensive for me. No.
I know. Remember, and it's also, I don't deserve this nice place.
I don't deserve it.
Deserve it. That's what it comes back to.
Yeah.
It always comes back to, I don't deserve this. So why? Why don't we deserve the same thing? We absolutely deserve the same thing.
And I'm listening to you talk about your friend went to Lamu, and I think I'm on that same point in my journey of like taking myself to the places I love, because I love Diani. And so this year I took myself on a solo trip, and it was incredible. And every moment of the day, I was doing everything I love to do. And I came back and I was like, wasn't that great? Where are we going to next? So the more you intentionally do it, it strengthens that muscle, right? Where you start feeling like, I do deserve this. And I gave myself this. How wonderful. Like, I treasure myself, right?
Oh, so important. So important. What do you enjoy doing? So tell me, what do you enjoy doing when you go to, like, how do you bring pleasure into Adelle's life?
Oh my God.
How do you bring?
So I'll start with the trip first, and then an everyday. Okay. So with the trips, I love writing poetry. I'm a poet. So I always pick places where I'll have space during the day to write. I love bicycle tours so much. Like, I don't even know where that came from, but like, I love them to death. I can go on a bicycle tour that's 3-4 hours long. So I always book one in advance, wherever it is that I'm going. I love finding dishes that I love in restaurants, and then I collect favorite restaurants, like in Dakar, in Joburg, in Diani,
Oh my God.
And I'll take myself
I'm so excited.
Yeah, can we go? Can we go now, Leyla? Let's go.
No, literally, because these are like all my favorite things. Like I absolutely, for me, food, taking pictures of
Yes.
food is literally one of my favorite pleasurables. And I share with everybody, you need to go and eat in this place.
Yes,
Oh, I
yes.
love
And you
that. I
treat
love that.
yourself. But I also learned that it's
Yeah,
important in a day to day to put things that I enjoy so that you're not so stuck up on your routine that you start moving like you're in the army when you're alive. And one of the reasons we're alive is to enjoy being alive. And so I'll drum at the beginning of my day because I love drumming. I'll sit in the sun
I
in the
love
middle of my
that.
day. And I think it's important for us, I guess it's what we're talking about, moving from survival to really sitting in our
Yeah.
life, right? How do you bring pleasure to yourself, especially in Layla's everyday? What are the things that you do?
Yeah. Oh man. By the way, you just reminded me of something. I love riding bicycles, but I haven't done it in so while. There's a fear. And I've been saying to my husband, I need because I remember I used to feel so free when I rode a bicycle. So I just wrote it down as you were speaking. I need to get back on a bike.
Yes, I'm
I
gonna
just wrote
check
that down.
in a month.
Yeah, yeah. You need to help. Yeah, please hold me accountable. And by the way, there is a bike in the house. Like I have
Oh
no
my
excuse.
goodness, I'll check in a week.
I know. I really need to. So yeah, I have my daily routine. So I learned, for example, I have my best sleep. See, one of the things I learned, I'm not the deepest sleeper. So I sleep 4 hours and I wake up. I used to give myself such a hard time. How come you don't sleep in 8 hours? But I'm just, since I was born, I was like this. So, and I finally identified when does Layla sleep the best. So my best sleep, it's between 6 a.m. till 9 a.m. So
Mm.
now I've learned not to have any meetings unless it's urgent. So I actually make sure I do have, I call it my power nap
Oh
because I
wow.
wake up at 5. I wake up at 5, or sometimes I wake up at 4,
Mm.
and that is when I write. So that's when I'm the most creative. So I'll come down to my office for an hour. I'm just writing and just thinking about like my ideas. And I like to send emails around that time. My
Mm.
colleagues, I'm always saying, please ignore me. Don't panic because you got my email at 4 a.m. It's just, I just like that space. Then I'll go back to bed. I
Mm.
call it my power nap. For me, that's absolutely a pleasure for my, because I have autoimmune diseases. I have lupus, I have fibromyalgia. This is what happens when you don't take care of yourself, right?
Mm.
So for me, waking up, like massaging my head scalp, just really taking my time. I love a coffee ritual in the morning. I'm a breakfast person. I'm not necessarily a lunch person. I'm a breakfast person.
Yeah.
But I make my own sage from my
Oh,
garden that I grow. I'll burn my sage and frankincense. I grew up with burning frankincense in the mornings. For me, frankincense means it's morning, it's a brand new day. So I set my intentions.
mm.
I'm not the deepest meditation, but I do sit uh, on my mat in the morning, just really. And I have a canvas right next to me in my office. Like I might be painting. It depends how I feel.
Oh,
Like I could be
I love it.
painting. Yeah, so I have to do because I'm a very creative person before I go into anything else. So that's how my day usually. But my splurging, it's I love going to a nice restaurant. For me, food.
Mm.
Karen Farmers Market is my favorite place in Nairobi. Like I love that place. I'm obsessed. I always feel like I won in life every time I go there.
I
I'm
love it.
like, tell me, because you're buying. I mean, I have things that I grow in the house, but like just and to see African vendors, like and I
Yes.
always ask, is this your business? I blatantly ask, is this yours? Or you working for someone else? Like I don't care. Like I need to ask, is this money coming to you directly? That's what I need to check. So and the food, we sit there, me and my husband, literally it's our favorite. And we're early sleepers.
Yeah.
We're in bed by like 6:30, 7. I don't do the whole hanging out late at night. Like I also realize I can't do that. Like unless it's a very
Mm.
special occasion, we don't do that. So I love the farmers market. So for me, those are very pleasurable experience. I love a spa day. I love
Ah.
a good spa. For me, that's a nice splurge I do for myself, especially if I do some well at something,
Mm.
my dad, it's something my dad told me to do. He goes, even if you get a good feedback on a report, he goes, Layla, get yourself your favorite cake. I remember, I
Oh,
never
I
forgot
love
that.
that.
He goes, you need to reward yourself. My dad was someone who really, really reminded us. And my mom, my family, there was a culture of rewarding people. We always reward somebody for the, I mean, people think, my husband sometimes looks at me, he goes, you guys are having dinner over just because they got, I'm like, yes, that person has their report, they got an A+ for their work. You know, we're gonna go and celebrate. Like, it's so important for us to so for me, it's celebrating little things that people think is little thing, but I think is important to acknowledge. Because as Black people, remember, we are working 10 times harder than everybody else.
Yes.
We don't work. So we do need to reward ourselves. So for me, those are really key things. And cooking is also one of my favorite things I love doing. I love feeding my friends. And I love cooking. It's one of my favorite things to do. Yeah.
And I just hope for you who's listening, you can see that there's various ways that you can start bringing in things that feel good to you, like pleasure into your life. It's not always a huge moment. It's just like in everyday life, notice the things that bring you joy and then start including them in your life. But Leyla, you've spoken about us being the first generation that weren't born into colonization, and also about the trauma and the survival mode we inherited, right? But
Hey, girl, we are surviving all the time. Oh, it's exhausting.
But like, do you think when you look at like African culture, and of course, like every country has like subcultures and differences and similarities, but when we look at wellness and womanhood, do you think it was always survival? Or are there certain things that we really need to start revisiting that we were doing before colonization that worked?
Oh man, actually, I know you're going to be talking to. I hope you're talking to Nana Dakwa's new book.
Yes,
Oh my
we
God.
are.
Oh,
And I'm reading
God,
it
so terrible.
currently.
Do you know, I haven't read it yet, but I'm actually in that book. I should know the title. My brain has just gone like, I'm so
Sexual
sorry, Nana.
freedom, and it talks
The
about
sexual freedom.
yes,
Seeking sexual freedom, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right. What I loved about when she was actually she interviewed me for that book when we were in Sierra Leone.
Oh,
That's
wow.
how long ago I did that interview.
Yeah.
But the book, I remember, it was really revisiting what is it that's pleasurable that we did before. And like, for example, maybe I'll speak to my being a Somali woman. One of the things I was brought up with, it's taking care of your skin and your hair was like, I used to think this must be annoying, but man, I realize how fundamental that is. Or scents. Like, I grew up with scents, like burning frankincense in the morning, burning oud. Do you know oud?
Yes.
It's perfumed. Yeah, or at night. Like, do you know the whole vagina steaming?
Yeah.
Somali women, we've been doing that all our lives. Sudanese women have been doing that. Like, then the West took it and called it vagina steaming. We're like, no, we did this. Like, we have been doing this way before. We didn't make it into a business. So it's so, and I would encourage anyone who's listening, go back and find out the women in your community. Like, every African woman had a different kind of way of looking after themselves. Like, like, I remember Somali women every Friday, because the weekend, Saturday. This is when we were in the UK. Even when we are broke, we are living like with really teeny tiny budgets. You got some avocado, you find some eggs, you get some mayonnaise. It's a great hair mask. Somali women still use the hair mask with olive oil. That's not going to cost you much. Like, it's like there is a way. Like, I remember my grandmother would say, there's no excuse for looking rough. She would say there's no need. There is no excuse. She would say, no, she goes, we actually have cultures. Like, we have plants.
Yeah.
Africa, what we need to start doing is like find get our scientists to look into. We have so many plants here that are good for our skin, for our hair, but we actually haven't dug deep into this. So it's at many levels that we need to go, but we really need to definitely recommend that book. Actually, it was on my list of things to recommend later. Yeah, I know that's what Nana deep dives into. So important. However, one thing I want to acknowledge, and I'm already seeing, there's a big difference between how West African women versus East African women look after themselves. I found, especially West Africa, and I guess maybe I can speak to Kenya, there's a sense of not tapping into our feminine energy.
Yeah.
Not allowed. where when you go to West Africa, you really feel the feminine energy. You really feel it. I'm feminine naturally. That's my that's really what when I'm in a good place, that's what I tap into. But it's very difficult sometimes to exist in an environment where, especially in Kenya, Kenyan women, they were not allowed to be feminine because a lot of the women had to be tough.
Yeah.
Which is also something I've seen British women. I don't know if the colonization played the role in this, because I see this same thing with white British women, the same toughness, the same not tapping into the feminine energy. When you go to Senegal, you really feel the French energy.
Yes. Actually,
I'm not
that's
saying
so
that's a good thing.
interesting. That
I
is
don't
so
know. It's something that I've noticed over the years. Like, it's like, I really, because the program, the Girl Generation, the program, we work in East Africa, but West Africa, Senegal,
yeah.
it's one of the countries. And I really feel the massive difference when I'm working in those two countries. Massive difference.
I think you're onto something when you talk about like colonization, because there was a huge stripping, I think, and especially with Kenya,
Totally.
we
Yeah.
what we experienced was like burned and not taught to us, but we feel the effects. So it's like
Yes.
it's a disconnect where we're like, we thought we had it good. No, we didn't. We just weren't told how bad it was, You're
Yeah.
constantly surviving. And it goes back to what you talked about earlier, where if you are a woman who takes pleasure in softness and in pouring back to herself and in treating herself, etc., you're seen as almost not only privileged, but like you are wasting and you're not really responsible. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. But then go to Isli. Isli is full of Somalis.
Yes.
Isli, the
Yes.
women are walking around with head rollers
Yeah.
and a face mask.
Yeah.
Literally, she's shopping.
Yeah.
Literally, I remember Somali women used to do that. They would put head rollers in their head during the day. They go out to the market with a
Yeah.
turmeric
Yeah.
face mask, and
Yeah.
she has her shopping basket. But I definitely believe that the colonization played a role in really stripping that away. And also, Kenyan women are they're the main
The
breadwinners.
breadwinners.
Out there,
Yeah.
they're the breadwinners. I remember
She's
talking to an
tired.
elder woman. She's tired. I remember like an older Kenyan woman, and she goes, Leyla, she said to me, feminism backfired on us. That's what she said. She goes, feminism has backfired. And I said, what do you mean? She goes, we are the breadwinners. Now the men don't even want to work. They're relying on us to do everything. They take our money. She
True.
goes, it's not like, and I remember she said to me, it's not like the Muslims. She said, Muslim
Yeah.
women, you're not allowed to take our money. Even though that's not true. The patriarchy exists everywhere. Men will take your money. They don't care about religion. And behind closed doors, everybody's money's being taken. But I remember she said, we're the breadwinners. She goes, I'm tired. She goes, feminism has made me exhausted. And I was like, wow, that's a very good point that you just made.
Yeah.
Because I thought feminism was supposed to save me, but I'm more tired. I'm more burnt out. Now the men have all left because they know we can look after the kids. That's literally the narrative she used. So she goes, I don't have time to go and get dressed up or look after myself. Like, I can't. I'm surviving the
tired.
day. When I come home, if I have a shower, yeah, that makes sense. So that's where the softness has been taken away. When I say the system doesn't allow you to have pleasure, the system has put, especially Black women again, now the men are not even around.
Yeah. And so I wonder, to you, if you were to define what a healthier and more liberated African womanhood looks like, what would it look like?
Oh man, choose yourself. Always. Oh my God. And I'm talking to the women who are in relationships, the ones with children. Your children need to see that you choose, because Adele,
Yes.
we pass on this behavior.
Yes.
We pass on this behavior. Choose yourself always. If I learned anything I'm going to be 46 this year. Oh my God, I have to choose myself every time. Every time, because there's the horrible lesson we've passed on, especially to our women. You behave like your mother, you sacrifice yourself, don't you look after everybody else. Oh, we have to break that cycle. Because let me tell you, when you choose yourself, that's how we're going to start breaking that cycle. I love that now, even though my daughter's 23. I think I catched on when she was becoming a teenager that actually I was not breaking the cycle. I was just kind of repeating the same thing. And It was through a conversation where I kept feeling bad, guilt. You know, the mum guilt. Every time I traveled for work, I would go. I mean, by the way, I would be in a beautiful country like Guatemala, but I would land on the day I'm speaking, and I leave the third day after my last panel. I didn't get to enjoy the city because, you know, I have to be at home. I have to be a mother.
Yeah.
It was only when my therapist said, and I said, I am so tired. I said, I can't. This is so exhausting. I feel bad. And my therapist said to me, but have you spoken to your daughter about this? How did she feel that you're traveling? Have you actually asked that question? And when my daughter was at 14, coming up 15, I said, Fair, you know, I feel so bad. And she goes, I thought every woman does this. I thought every woman worked and she traveled, because I realized I was projecting my mom giving up her career onto her. But actually, she didn't know anything else. She only knew that woman goes out to work. She said, but isn't that what I'm going to do? When I have my career, you're going to look after my kids. Like for her, that was the norm. Like it was so nonchalant. For her, that's when I was like, oh my God, I was projecting the fact that my mom gave up her career onto my own child. Because my mom did give up her career. She left a very high flying job. She had a really great job. But because she became a wife, my father was a breadwinner. So because my mother sacrificed, I wasn't sacrificing enough for my child. I felt bad. So it was through that. And then what that led to a whole conversation where I realized I've never lived on my own. So I went from my parents' home to my ex-husband's home, then living with my daughter. I'm like, oh my God, I'm like coming up to my 40s. I'm like, oh no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I'm passing the same message. My daughter needs to learn to live on. She needs to make that decision. So when I turned 40, she was turning 18. Look how the universe works.
Yeah.
I come to Kenya for work, lockdown happens. Faye had to live on her own. I get locked in Kenya. She's 18. We broke the cycle, but we set the intention. And now she's 23. She is, I mean, the way she safeguards her well-being, the way she safeguards her self-care, the way some days she'll say to me, she would tell the family group, guys, I'm not talking to you for 2 days. I need silence. Imagine telling that to an African family.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah, actually, my mom was so interested. This is why you need to choose yourself. So me choosing myself, saying I'm not going to feel bad that I'm away from the house, that I didn't, you know, she lived on her own. We had deep conversations about I need to choose myself. What that led to, it's now my mother talking to her friends with younger daughters. She goes, you know, girls living by themselves is not a bad thing. You know, my granddaughter. So my mom, it's seen the benefit of what it feels like, because my mom has never lived on her own either. Like my daughter's the first female to live on her own in our family.
Oh,
without being married or being attached to something around. No, she she lives on her own. I mean, she lives 5 minutes away from my mother, which is great. But for Somali, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
But so that's coming back to that question. We really need to choose ourselves, because that lesson, we have to pass it on to the next generation, But then what I realized through that, actually, my mom was influenced by this whole experience. I was never allowed to go on holiday. I wasn't even allowed to go to cinema by myself. But my mother was helping my daughter pack her suitcase when she was going on her first holiday with her friends to Spain. I remember witnessing this. I was like, I told myself, I was in Nairobi. I said to my daughter, please put the camera on. I need to see my mother helping you pack your suitcase. Because my mother has realized a girl being independent, actually, she's more confident. She's not anxious all the time. Like we're still breaking away from that anxiety. So choose yourself. But to do that, you have to do the inner work. Please, we need to find, if you don't even have the resources to go to therapy, find a community, a group of girlfriends, people you trust, just to have these conversations, you know? I don't want to assume everybody can go and afford therapy, but find a community, even if it's in your churches, your mosques, whatever community you belong to, where you feel safe, where you can have these conversations are so important, because we can't keep repeating the same thing, expecting a different outcome. We just can't. Choose yourself. I really cannot stress that enough.
And as we get closer to wrapping, maybe you could unpack what choosing yourself looks like in a relationship or in a marriage, because I
Hmm.
think that's another place outside of
Yeah,
motherhood that women kind of
yeah.
like forget who we are. We put everybody else before us.
Absolutely. I mean, one thing I would, I think I would encourage women everywhere, but especially Black African girls. We are subjected to getting married earlier, Adele. It's so dangerous. We need to say, first, we really need to change that system. Because I look back, there was an arranged marriage at 18 and I got married at 40 after that. I was two different human beings.
Yes.
So one, when I say choose yourself in a relationship, I want us to date, go and
Mm.
explore, enjoy yourself, make mistakes very early on. When you know who you are, then you can say, maybe this is where I pick a partner. And guess what? You might even find out you don't want a partner. What
Yeah.
is this idea that we need a partner in our lives? Like that's not I think that's also very dangerous. Some people genuinely are suffering just because they live with someone. If they lived on their own, they might actually have a better life, like because that's just their
Yes.
energy.
Mm.
So choosing yourself means it doesn't mean you have to be with someone, you have to have children. Choosing yourself is really, I need space to learn about myself.
Mhm.
So what am I like in my friendships? What am I like around my family? What do those boundaries look like? Make mistakes, make loads of mistakes, because then how are you going to learn if you don't make mistakes? Again, Black people, we have been raised not to make any mistakes because what happens when you make a
Mm.
mistake is wrapped with guilt, shame. So no, no, no. It's that's something that my daughter challenged me on very early on. She goes, Mom, you keep telling me to make mistakes, but I've never seen you make mistakes because I've been hiding it from her.
Mm.
So I had to really show my mistakes. Oh no, I got this wrong. I need to redo this again. Like it really, we need to, that's what it looks like, choosing yourself. But also it's really learning, is getting to know, is going on dates with yourself. I
Mm.
love taking myself out on a date, going for a walk, going to my favorite restaurant by myself, because I really need to be my own thoughts, because we're not allowed to have our own thoughts.
Mm.
Because you know what happens in our community when you have your own thoughts? Oh no, you're crazy.
Yes. You're demonized.
You're demonized. Oh no. Oh no. For me, it's the best time is when Layla goes and has a meeting with herself. I literally call
Mm.
it that. Layla needs to go and have a meeting with herself. I need to find out why this pattern keeps repeating itself. I will
Mm.
sit down, I will get my notepad, I will go to my therapist, I'll go and talk about why this is happening. So choosing yourself comes in different, but it's really taking care of you. You really have to take care of yourself. What do I enjoy? But fundamentally, and by the way, I want to talk to I want to speak to mothers. Mothers are really, this is where they get lost. Mothers get lost
Mm.
in choosing yourself, because mothers are really taught to sacrifice
Yes.
themselves. I love my mom, but my God, she really sacrificed herself for us. And we talk about it. Like she doesn't want that for her daughters. And it's a journey we're still navigating, because your identity cannot be tied up to your child. Your
Mm.
happiness cannot be tied up to your child. Your happiness cannot be tied up to your partner or anyone else. Your happiness has to tie up to you and to you only. It's like when you go, have you noticed when you go to weddings, you complete me? I find those things so dangerous.
Yes. Oh my goodness. It's so
My
problematic.
happiness, it's so problematic. Like I remember a really good friend of mine who really inspired my husband's vows. Like years ago when I went to her wedding, her and her husband, I remember that vows. They both looked at each other and they both said, we really like each other. I love you, but we love you. We love each other, but we really like each other. And we're going to be together until we like each other. Because otherwise, I don't want to be in this.
Yes.
We have to really check in. And oh my God, I swear to you, there's nothing more powerful than being in all forms of a relationship, knowing I don't have to think about forever with this person.
Mm.
And I see that in all my relationships, whether it's my marriage, my friendships, my family. Don't harm me. If you're going to harm me, I'm not going to be in this relationship. I don't care
Exactly.
if you're my family or a friend or a colleague. So always that's me choosing me. I will not be harmed or violated or taken advantage of or discriminated. Oh, absolutely no. Especially when I know I have power where I can remove myself. And it's practice. It doesn't happen overnight. You have to keep practicing practicing, do the inner work, especially around boundaries.
Mm.
What does pleasure look like? What makes Leyla happy? Because you know what? Only Leyla makes Leyla happy. No one else can make me happy. Everybody else brings a cherry to the cake, but I make my cake. I make the
Exactly.
cake.
It has to come from within. And what I
It
love, like
comes
this is
within.
so inspiring. As we wind up, Leyla, what's your mannerless message to the woman who's listening today?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, it sounds like choose yourself again, but I think with prioritizing pleasure, we need to reframe what pleasure feels like for us and redefine love for yourself. It's not the one Disneyland taught us.
Yeah.
It's not
Oh
that one. It's not
God.
that version. We need to decolonize ourselves from
Yeah.
that version of love. I think redefine what self-love means. Really, I think that's for me, you know, Adele, everything comes back to love. Even my belief in God is love. Everything, my being is love. Like the core of everything I do has to come back to love. But I had to redefine what love meant. I had to redefine it. And again, that's the inner work we need to do.
Oh my word, what a beautiful conversation, so affirming and a perfect way to round up this incredible season that has taken us across South Africa, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Ghana, and of course Somalia now. This episode, this conversation with Leyla, oh my God, my takeaway is you deserve pleasure simply because you exist. Another takeaway, choosing yourself isn't abandoning the people you love. It's refusing to abandon yourself. I just need to say a huge thank you to Leyla for such an honest and thoughtful and liberating conversation. And if you'd love to connect with her and explore more of her work, which I think you should, we've linked all of her platforms in the show notes. But before I let you go, this conversation doesn't have to end here. This September, we're bringing For Mannerless Women to life, okay? We're having the first ever For Mannerless Women live. It's happening on the 26th of September, and already over 200 women have joined the waitlist. If you would love to be in a room full of women committed to choosing themselves, women who are healing loudly and living freely, join the waitlist today. By joining, you get to be the first to know everything we're planning. You get early access to early bird tickets. And you also have a say in how For Mannerless Women Live can be meaningful for you. Find the link to join the waitlist in the show notes. And if this special season has spoken to you, send this episode to all the mannerless or almost mannerless women in your life. You just never know which conversation will change someone's life.